Hello everyone, my name is Seth Jordan. Today we will be giving an introduction to the AI innovation Notebook LM. So this is done for ALEX 640, Methods of Technological Change. We will be covering how it works, what it does, and really why this innovation matters to our culture and our society, and how it enhances learning in our classrooms. So just a brief overview of today's presentation. We will be giving a introduction to Notebook LM and the objective of the course, describing what is Notebook LM, who are the potential adopters and adopter categories of Notebook LM, how Notebook LM works, what Notebook LM does, why Notebook LM matters to our culture and society, give a summary of Notebook LM in the presentation, then go over a brief assessment and our references. So we are going to be covering Notebook LM, which is a Google AI assisted innovative tool for research and writing, as it helps people, researchers, students synthesize, analyze, and organize information from various sources. So these will go into this more, but this innovation is really unique because it allows you to tailor a few things to be more targeted at what information you put in. We'll also be comparing a Notebook LM to the Rogers Diffusion of Innovations adoption categories, and really discuss where we're currently at in the stage of adoption and how people are going to be adopting it moving forward. So then our objective of this course is that students will really be able to understand the importance and significance of Notebook LM through a detailed explanation and practical examples. Then with this understanding, they'll be able to demonstrate a well-articulated response to the assessments that we have. So what is Notebook LM? So to start, it is an AI innovation. So artificial intelligence uses large language models to synthesize or organize or even produce and generate information. So Notebook LM is a little different than other large language models. So it uses Gemini, which is Google's artificial intelligence program, to interpret information, with most of that information being the information that you provide. So as an example of that, you can see a publication on the left that I wrote actually and uploaded into Notebook LM, which was through sustainability. It was about Eurocentric attitudes in agriculture education. And Notebook LM was quickly, right when I uploaded this article, able to synthesize and organize and summarize the entire article. It then gave me the option to generate a deep dive conversation, which is more of a podcast-like conversation that we will be getting into later in the presentation. So really, you have the sources that you upload, the chat, which operates pretty similarly to other large language models and AI innovations, and then finally a unique studio feature. And then what Notebook LM is used primarily for in the education space is to create lesson plans, generate notes. Students really use it to synthesize and organize information. So it is used by both instructors and students to organize and just enhance learning. So looking at the adopter categories, so Notebook LM was released in 2023. So really we're at the innovator stage. The first people that are using Notebook LM are really understanding its importance and its aptitude in the research environment, compared to what we'll next see is those early adopters once people really start catching on to this and see its importance. those early adopters will be quick to adopt. There'll be students, researchers, PhD level students that really see it as a tool that increases and enhances their learning. The early majority adopters, as Rogers mentions, are going to be those ones that really start to see their peers benefiting from adoption and say, hey, what were you able to do with this? I want to start increasing my productivity. And the core value of what they're going to do is really targeted at enhancing productivity as well, but less motivated than those early adopters and innovators. The late majority adopters, which is the fourth category, are really at this phase cautious to adopt artificial intelligence and really cautious to put their research in to a platform that they don't know much about. So eventually they'll use it for its most basic features, the summarized features, maybe even a few advancing into the studio features, but they are right now cautious to adopt. Then we finally have the laggards who are not currently using Notebook LM, will not currently probably be using it in the future. In general, probably are skeptical of artificial intelligence as an entire category, so really are not going to be the ones finding Notebook LM, incorporating it into their learning and their everyday lives and jobs. So that's kind of the last phase of people that will be utilizing Notebook LM. So there really isn't a timeline to these adopter categories. As we've seen with things like ChatGPT, that there's been a lot of and a rapid evolution of use of that. But I think Notebook LM, because it's more specialized, are really at that innovator stage. So here is a quick how it works from an innovator who has been using this platform. Here are the 4 quick and easy steps on how to use Notebook LM. So the first step is the sources. So you are able to add and discover sources. I primarily use it to add sources. You can see the example I did was actually from the April 4th week of our ALEX 640 course, where I selected both the journal articles that Dr. Strong provided and then asked in the second step to compare these articles. So I prompted the chat function to compare the 2 articles. So the third portion of this, you can really see the output of that prompt. So it really gives a synthesis of the information and even gives some more sources, which if this is kind of the first lesson on that, is that Notebook LM will pull relevant sources that it feels adds, in this case, to the comparison. So my final step, and what a good final step in when using Notebook LM, is to really look at these sources and see if they're sources that align for what you're trying to get out of it. So if, for example, I clicked on source 5 and it is a source and on machine learning and sentiment analysis to perform innovativeness. So I felt it added to the study, but if I didn't, I could remove it from Notebook LM using the prompt function. So here is what I feel is the most unique and innovative feature of Notebook LM, which is the studio function. So it really creates a podcast that allows you to listen to the information and what in this case is the comparison of those 2 articles, and really understand it from a more human-like perspective, a more casual environment that's really engaging and allows you to essentially listen to a podcast. So I will be allowing you right quick to listen, and I think you're going to be surprised. Really listen in to how the dialogue of the speakers are speaking with each other, because from my perspective, it almost seems like two people recorded this. It seems realistic. It seems real to the learners. So I have to stop now and play this portion so that you can kind of see the studio version in real time and understand what it's like and how innovative it is to synthesizing information. So I'm going to play it right quick.
Think about how tough it can be to get a new idea off the ground.
Hmm.
Now, magnify that and consider the world of agriculture. Over 80% of farms globally are run by smallholder farmers, primarily in Asia and sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah, they're absolutely crucial.
They're the backbone of our food supply. And here's a fact that really brings it home. In Ghana, these small-scale farmers produce close to 90% of all farm produce.
90%. That's staggering.
So when new agricultural technologies come along or, it has this massive ripple effect.
Exactly. And that's really the focus of our deep dive today. We're trying to understand why some agricultural innovations are embraced by smallholder farmers in Ghana, leading to real change, while others just, well, don't gain traction.
Right.
We're drawing on research specifically from the Kitu North District of Ghana to explore this.
Okay. So our goal is to really get under the skin of what makes some farmers more open to new technologies than others. We're looking at the different categories of farmers based on their willingness to adopt, and also the...
So as you can see, I had to move to the next slide just for logistics on the PowerPoint purposes, but that was really neat how they were able to pick up on the location of the article in the north eastern district of Ghana and really talk about it. So from those two articles, it generated a 20-minute discussion that is casual, that is embracing, that is still educational. So really enhancing that learning and being able to take those key aspects of that article and make it more transferable and more lay to an audience that might not be able to understand it as easily. So this segments perfectly into why Notebook LM matters. So it really has the opportunity to enhance student learning, efficiency of knowledge transformation. So on the right, you can really see that as a society, as a culture, we know education is important. We know education breaks down barriers, allows people to get out of cycles such as poverty, and is really an important thing to kind of lift people up and lift our economy up and just make everyone's lives better. But as you can see on the bottom right of the screen, this is the reality of learning. It's difficult. It is sometimes too challenging and really takes away from the learning and growth aspect and the growth mindset of learning because of concepts that are just too difficult to understand. So we all come at different phases in the learning cycle, and sometimes we just need a little help and a little assistance in learning. So I put this synthesis of those two articles in the middle because I think that's what Notebook LM really does well, is it allows to connect that and bridge that gap of difficulty into achievement. So another innovative nature of Notebook LM is it really takes all the noise out of the learning process. So it allows for really targeted and enriched learning as you can upload your articles, combine the large language model to those articles as much as possible to really synthesize and get those outputs that you want. So I think those two things combined really make it a powerful tool that needs to be adopted more by students. It needs to be adopted more in the learning and higher education environment, the post-secondary environment, the K through 12 environment, really as an important tool. To summarize, Notebook LM utilizes Gemini, which is Google's AI platform, but can allows for more targeted learning and synthesis as you can upload your own materials. So it's critical for students as they become innovators and early adopters of this enhanced learning platform, as it can just overall lead to more tailored learning and more effective learning in an academic and professional environment. So Notebook LM really is not going to replace skill-based learning. It's going to replace the ability to connect and synthesize and be more productive with how you learn, which I think is a really important trait as we move forward and we try and push the boundaries of learning with things such as interdisciplinary learning, transdisciplinary learning, learning disciplines that are completely out of the paradigm in the different topic area that you're studying in. So for our assessment in this presentation, I want you to consider these 3 questions and have a detailed response to these questions as I see them as the main learning objective and tie back to that main learning objective for the course. So here are the references that I used for this presentation. And I really thank everyone for listening about the AI innovation Notebook LM. It has the opportunity to transform the learning environment and take us from a place of challenge learning and really struggling in the learning process to achievement, to high satisfaction with learning, so that we continue to push the boundary and become a society that is more innovative and that accepts these innovations and learns how to use them effectively and ethically as well. So thank you all, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.